Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, this is my YouTube channel, Sherelle Thinks, where I talk about all things health anxiety related. As always, I've got my two little ones asleep in the back. It is genuinely the only time that I get to make videos these days, when these two are sleeping. Mum life is intense. But I wanted to do a video today about what to do and how to deal with waiting for test results or waiting for like a diagnosis, because this is something that is like obviously really challenging for a health anxiety sufferer. Like if we're waiting for blood test results or an MRI result, or we're waiting to see like a specialist or whatever, it's obviously very nerve-wracking. And to be honest, waiting for test results have been some of the hardest points of my life, like so difficult. And I think the first thing to note is that we can't expect to have no anxiety, right? So, you know, some people will say to me like, I'm waiting for blood test results and I can't cope, like I need to get rid of this anxiety. But that's not going to happen, right? So first and foremost, there needs to be an acceptance of when you are in a highly anxiety inducing situation, like waiting for test results, there's going to be a certain amount of anxiety that is out of your control, and there's nothing that you can do about that other than ride it out. Because trying to completely get rid of that anxiety is putting immense pressure on yourself, and it's not feasible. Like, it's not going to happen. You're not going to get rid of that anxiety. Even a person without health anxiety, if they were waiting for test results, chances are they're going to feel nervous, because we're human beings, and when we are waiting for test results, we feel as though our threat and our life is threatened. So naturally, of course, we're going to be anxious. So that's the first thing, is to kind of like accept that this is going to be a really shitty time. Like, there's no trying to make it pretty or trying to make it more positive. Like, it's a shit thing to go through when you're waiting for test results. So that's the first thing. Secondly, of course, there are things that you can do to make the time more manageable and make the anxiety more manageable. So, for example, I recently just had to wait a week to get my eyes properly looked at. And in that time, of course, there was a certain amount of anxiety because I'm waiting to see the specialist. There could have been something really wrong. And obviously, as a health anxiety sufferer, the what if catastrophic thoughts come in thick and fast. But what I try to do in those situations where I am waiting for test results, and like I said, it's happened, I've had this happen lots of times with MRIs, with blood tests, with cervical smear, you know, all sorts of stuff. What I like to do is, if I know that I've got to wait 10 days for results or a week for results, is I like to keep myself busy, because that's something that helps me. So I will make plans with family members, friends. I'll be out of the house as much as I possibly can. I'll just generally be doing things that even make me feel 10% better, you know. And I'm not looking for complete anxiety, a complete resolution of my anxiety. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for things that can make me feel even slightly better, or even just for a moment. So that's what I did this week, for example. I had lots of plans. I've been, you know, out with the kids. I've been with my mum. I've had friends over for dinner twice this week. You know, I've just been doing stuff because I know that if I'm sat in the house by myself, my anxiety is going to peak, right? Third is that, like, do not give in to your safety behaviours during this time. If you have had a blood test or you've had an MRI and you're waiting for the results, Googling in amongst that time is not going to make any difference whatsoever. There's nothing you can do. You've had the test done, or you're waiting to see the specialist, whatever it is. Googling is only going to make that time of waiting even harder and even more miserable. And all you're doing is wrecking the present moment. So I remember before, this was like years ago, I was waiting for an MRI. I had an MRI, and I was waiting for the results. And in that time, all I was doing was Googling, you know, can an MRI see so-and-so, so-and-so, and what are the symptoms of a brain tumour? What does MS look like? And the point of me doing that, and the reason why I was doing that, was because I could not sit with the uncertainty, right? Which is a big theme with health anxiety. I couldn't sit with the uncertainty, and I tried to take control by Googling, but all that did was make my anxiety a million times worse. It made the wait borderline unbearable, and it just, again, took away any present moment happiness that was available to me. So the way that we have to look at it when we're waiting for these things is, A, I'm going to feel anxious, and I have to accept and honour that my body is in a state of panic right now, and trying to fight with that anxiety and trying to push it away is not helpful. But 2, it's finding things that reduce or help you manage your anxiety, even by a tiny amount. It might be exercise, it might be meditation, it might be being with family and friends, it might be binge watching a movie or a series that you've seen 10 times before. It might be making yourself your favourite food. You know, you've got to dip into your toolkit and think, what do I have available to me that I can utilise right now? And 3rd, and perhaps the most important, is to stay away from those safety behaviours, because there's no point in Googling, period. But even more so when you're waiting for test results, or you're waiting to see a specialist, or you're waiting for a diagnosis, you're already on the track to get answers. So trying to figure out more answers in the meantime is just going to stress you out. It's just going to cause more anxiety. And in the long run, it's just going to make the health anxiety even harder to get away from. So that's the way that we have to kind of look at it. And I know, don't get me wrong, I know how hard and how challenging it is. Like I said, some of the darkest times of my life has been waiting for test results, because my impulsive and kind of my impatient nature makes it really difficult for me to sit and wait, especially when it's regarding my health and there is a potential for there to be something wrong and something to threaten my health. But we do have to learn to start sitting with uncertainty and learning how to manage those difficult feelings. And they're really big, difficult feelings, but learning to manage them and still going about our day despite having this heavy feeling that we often feel in our chest. So the reason why I wanted to do this video today is because it just so happened that I have been waiting for results this week. I haven't had to wait for results in a long, long time. So it got me thinking, and it reminded me of how uncomfortable and how icky it can feel waiting for test results when you just don't know what they're going to say. You know, it's really difficult. So I thought I would do this video just as a bit of advice, I suppose, you know, on how you can deal with your own weights through your health anxiety journey. I mean, ideally, we want to get to a place where we're only going to get tests done when we genuinely need them, because I really did need my eyes checked this time, but I can't tell you the amount of scans and blood tests that I've had done that were not really needed. So we also need to work on limiting the amount of scans that we have, because that just obviously causes suffering. So that's another element that we need to work on. I'll do another video on that whole kind of not rushing to get a scan or a blood test, that kind of reassurance seeking that we often do with health anxiety. But I hope that this video was helpful, guys. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Tell me your own story below in the comments of times where you've had to wait for test results, and any advice that you might have for anybody watching this video. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye.